Hey everyone, in this video I'm discussing the full moon in Virgo on February the 24th, 2024. Full moons is always a time when emotions are heightened, a time of culmination, when the intention set from the previous new moon 2 weeks prior may come into fruition. Everything that Virgo represents is practicality, organization, attention to detail. Virgo is the work-oriented, sensible planet. It's about service. It's about focusing on healthcare, taking care of others, taking care of yourself. This Virgo full moon is going to be particularly heightened in the sign of Virgo because the opposite of the moon in Virgo, which sets up the full moon, is the sun in Pisces. But all the other planets, except for the moon, are all pretty much clustered near the sun. And in basic astrology, you start learning about different configurations of the chart that starts to discuss kind of the energies and the personality without even knowing if this is a Capricorn, a Scorpio, a Gemini rising. This configuration of all the planets pretty much clustered on one side of the chart and one lone planet opposite is called a bucket configuration. And the moon, or that lone planet opposite the other planets, is called the handle of the bucket. Meaning, basically, that all the dynamic energy of this full moon and all the aspects these other planets are making to each other channels through the moon. This moon is at 5 degrees of Virgo. So pretty much, if you have planets in your chart, the first 10 degrees of Virgo, because I'm looking at from 0 to 5, from 5 to 10, like 5 degrees other side of the moon in Virgo, or in harmony with the other earth signs, the first 10 days of Capricorn, the first 10 days or the first 10 degrees of Taurus, but then opposite Pisces. Those signs will be particularly emphasized, but really, where is Virgo falling in your specific horoscope based on your time of birth? But in generalities, which is what all of us astrologers on YouTube, because we're talking to the masses, so where does Virgo fall from your sun sign? And that sector of the chart is going to be really emphasized, and that moon is bringing these strong emotional needs. Now, before I break down what is occurring in and unpacking this full moon chart, I'm also then later going to be discussing some major planetary events from the full moon on the 24th to the next new moon 2 weeks later, which is on March the 10th. But before I unpack all of this for you, if you enjoy these kinds of videos and would like to see more of them, click like and subscribe. And don't forget to click on the notification bell so you can receive the latest postings. And if you go into the description box underneath the video, you'll find a direct link to sign up for my free daily messages, or a link to the website where you can check out booking an astrology reading or signing up for my 2-question offer. Okay, so this full moon in Virgo, the Virgo is opposite the sun in Pisces. So the sun in Pisces is aligned with serious, concentrated, practical Virgo, and the Sun and Saturn are very positive to Jupiter, and the Moon is forming the best flow of energy to Jupiter, while being opposite that Sun Saturn. So enough of all that jargon. What does this mean? Well, as I've already discussed, there's a strong emphasis because of the configuration where the moon is the lone planet opposite all the other planets in Virgo. So there's a major emphasis for the whole world for these next 2 weeks on all things Virgo: practicality, details, organizations. Virgo energy encourages us to analyze, refine, and improve aspects of our lives, particularly in the areas of health, work, and our daily routines. Those are the basic keywords for the sign of Virgo. It is a time when we may feel compelled to clean up our physical and emotional spaces, striving for greater efficiency and effectiveness, also really positive qualities of Virgo. Now, that full moon, that powerful moon in Virgo, is trining Jupiter. Trining is a 120 degree angle. It's the best flow of energy. So that powerful moon is throwing this really positive aspect to Jupiter. And so there's all things Jupiter are going to be emphasized with this moon. A sense of optimism, opportunity, expansion. Jupiter's influence may amplify feelings of generosity, enthusiasm, and a desire for growth. All things Jupiter will be really emphasized. Jupiter, traveling, education, publishing, marketing. For a lot of us, that might just simply mean updating your website, or finally, launching a new website, or doing YouTube videos or Instagram videos, and doing a lot of that marketing and publishing. Jupiter is the teacher, so you're teaching the world, but you could also be taking classes and learning more about your subjects. On the other hand, from the moon trining Jupiter, which is very favorable, optimistic energy, the sun is going to be conjunct or aligned with Saturn. But the Sun-Saturn will be sextiling, which is the second favorable flow of energy, to Jupiter. The trine is the best flow of energy. That's 120 degrees. Half of 120 is 60. That's called the sextile. Sextiles give you positive opportunities, but you have to grab it. So the Sun-Saturn and sextiling Jupiter suggests a balancing act between the discipline of Saturn and the optimism of Jupiter. Saturn's influence emphasizes responsibility, structure, hard work. This conjunction may bring a serious tone to the full moon, prompting us to confront our limitations, face reality, and take practical steps towards our long-term objectives. However, the sextile to Jupiter offers a supportive aspect, indicating that persistence and strategic planning from the Saturn, we may be able to overcome obstacles and achieve success. The other major influence in the full moon chart is Venus and Mars are conjunct in Aquarius. And they're both squaring a 90-degree angle of more of this internal pressure to Jupiter. So there's a lot of, you got that Venus-Mars pushing on Jupiter. The full moon is impacting in very favorable ways the Jupiter. Jupiter is bringing more growth, more optimism, more opportunity. That full moon in practical Virgo being influenced by Saturn, because the sun's conjuncting Saturn, is bringing in all this major goals, all this discipline and hard work. But all the Jupiter is bringing the opportunities. And as long as you persevere, you don't give up, most of you can really start making some real positive gains. Now, the Venus-Mars is creative, it's sexual, it's romantic, it's dynamic, and squaring the Jupiter adds a layer of complexity. Now, Venus represents love and beauty and harmony, while Mars symbolizes action, passion, and assertiveness. When these two planets come together, there's the potential for dynamic energy in relationships and creative endeavors. It's all about stirring a lot of passion that's going to go a long way with all the optimism of the Jupiter. However, the square to Jupiter suggests a potential for overdoing it. Jupiter can overexpand. But when it's in a hard angle, there's like this pressure on Jupiter for overindulgence or conflict between the Venus-Mars, which could be tension with money, tension with sex. But it is essential to find a balance between all of your passions with moderation. So, this Virgo full moon invites you to take a practical and discerning approach. That's all that Virgo energy, but while remaining open to possibilities for growth and expansion, which is the Jupiter. It is a time, because of the Saturn, for introspection, organization, and taking concrete steps, that's the Saturn, towards achieving your aspirations with that sense of optimism and faith because of the really strong emphasis from Jupiter. And that Venus-Mars, so this full moon to the Saturn, lots of hard work. The Jupiter bringing you the opportunities to attract major goals and to accomplish and achieve your goals. But it's not all work, which is very favorable for most of us because the Venus-Mars is all this romantic passion. And it's in Aquarius. So if you have it's around 8 to 9 degrees of Aquarius, that Venus-Mars conjunction. So perhaps the first 15 days, the first half of the sign, because there's 30 degrees in a sign, if you have Aquarius planets, those first 15 degrees, that Venus-Mars, whatever that planet represents, whatever sector in the chart that Aquarius is being very much stimulated with dynamic, passionate energy. Now, the Venus-Mars in Aquarius is going to be impacting the opposite sign of Leo. So Leo rising people, there might be more romantic, dynamic energy in an existing relationship, bringing some romance into a new relationship. But that Aquarius energy, where it falls in your chart, could also be emphasizing Libra or Gemini. So if you have planets in one of those two other air signs, that Venus-Mars will also be really impacting in very dynamic ways. And the strongest would be the first half of the sign, the first 15 degrees, because there's 30 degrees in a sign. So anywhere from 0 degrees to like 15 degrees of Aquarius, of Libra, of Gemini, or opposite Leo. Now, let me break down and look at what are the important events, the planetary events over these next 2 weeks. On the 27th, Mars is going to be in a hard angle with expansive Jupiter. So assertive Mars is going to be pushing on expansive Jupiter. Now that's going to happen late on the 26th Pacific time to the first half of the day on the 27th of Pacific time. And Mars to Jupiter triggers a lot of vital energies, but in an agitated way, this anxious, restless way. I got to go for it. I got to expand. Now, Mars, Jupiter, with all your projects, there's this feeling of optimism, but you may be too anxious and jump the gun and make impulsive decisions. This is very favorable energy, particularly on the 27th, to start new projects, start a new job. But you need to pace yourself and don't have big, huge expectations, because moderation wins the race. On the 27th, the moon in Libra is going to go void of course. Well, every 2.5 days, the moon changes signs, and right before it changes signs, it's called void of course. It's a time when the moon isn't making any aspects to other planets until it changes to the next sign. And so there's no energy. It's flat, it's unproductive. You can continue with your routine, but you don't want to start anything important new because the energy is flat and unproductive. And the reason I'm bringing it up, because it happens every 2.5 days, and it lasts, sometimes it lasts for 5 minutes, sometimes it might last 7, 8, 4, however many hours. But this time, it's lasting a long time. From the 27th of around 10:22 a.m. Pacific time until the next day on the 28th till 7:10 p.m. Pacific time. So just remember the 27th to 28th, most of it is just stick to your routine. Now on the 28th, discerning Mercury, powerful leadership, Sun, are both going to be aligning with Saturn. A day of great responsibilities, but best to not be launching a new work project, but to more of accomplish what you've been doing. Maybe get it more organized, more focused, and push even harder to accomplish these goals prior. So it is good for accomplishing a lot. Just don't introduce anything new. On March the 1st, the Sun is now going to sextile very favorably expansive Jupiter. So it's bringing in a day of optimism, of growth, all things Jupiter. The Sun is putting a positive spin on. Traveling, education, teaching, publishing. On the 3rd, pleasurable relational Venus will be in a hard angle to Uranus. Venus-Uranus can shake up and maybe weaken a weak relationship because there's this desire for freedom if you're feeling trapped. But on the more general positive, Uranus rules group activities and friendships. Venus is all that socializing. So there could be an unexpected, that's Uranus energy on the 3rd, of your friends gathering for an impromptu party. You could go to a party or a group event and make new friends or have a sudden infatuation. That's the Venus-Uranus. On the 4th, now discerning planning Mercury will be sextile or in harmony with Uranus. In many ways, Uranus is the higher vibration to Mercury, because Uranus is the genius and Mercury is intelligence. Anyhow, when Mercury is in harmony with Uranus, it's a day we're more open to new progressive ideas, less afraid of technology, maybe learning new software or learning new technology, thinking out of the box, being more progressive with your plans. On March the 8th, now that discerning Mercury will align with Neptune. There's two ends of the spectrum here. On the highest vibration, Neptune is intuitive, it's compassionate, it's creative. And with that Mercury, you could be inspired, you could be inspiring others. It could be a highly creative day, a healing day, a day of service. The downside you want to be careful about is that your thinking, Mercury, could be distracted. You know, you may be lost in daydream land, or you are, or what information you're hearing from others, you're misinterpreting it. So you got to be careful of what you're hearing or what you think other people are hearing what you're saying, because that Mercury-Neptune can be miscommunications. On the 9th, the Sun is in harmony with Uranus, thinking out of the box, opening up new possibilities, getting really excited. At the same time that the Sun is in harmony with Uranus, assertive dynamic Mars is in a hard angle to Uranus. There's an enormous amount of energy exploding on the 9th, more likely carrying you into the 10th, which is the next new moon. So a lot of that energy on the 9th may be part of the next new moon. And so Sun to Uranus, Mars to Uranus, breaking out of the box, breaking out of any stuck routines, being really progressive and inventive, a lot of dynamic energies. But if you're in any kind of a stuck situation or a restricted relationship or a restricted job, you may be feeling really motivated to break free. I want to thank you for watching. If you like information on how to book an astrology reading or to check out my 2-question offer, visit my website at gardino.co. That's .co. Until next time, be safe and well.